Breaking news, according to Michael Cerami of Bleacher Nation, the Cubs are finalizing a deal to acquire Edward Cabrera from the Marlins. Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic later confirms this. Jesse Rogers of ESPN reports that the trade will not involve top-tier pitching prospects from the Cubs. Instead, position player prospects are more likely to be headed to Miami. Kevin Barrell of Fish on First and Sports Illustrated reports that Owen Casey is part of the package headed to Miami. Bruce Levine of Marquee Sports Network later confirms what Kevin Barrell reported. Jeremiah Geiger, a host of the Locked On Marlins, reports that Owen Casey is headed to the Fish. Christian Hernandez is likely in the deal as well. The deal is pending a physical. Jeff Passan of ESPN reports that the deal is done and that Owen Casey is going to the Marlins with two other hitting prospects. The players are being informed. Craig Mish, host of Sports Grid, reports the final trade package. Miami will receive Owen Casey, Christian Hernandez, and Edgardo de Leon. The Cubs will get Edward Cabrera. Now for my thoughts on the deal. Edward Cabrera is a starting pitcher. He's right-handed, and in 2025, with the Marlins, he had a 2.8 WAR. His record was 8-7. He had a 3.53 ERA, and he started 26 games. Well, I am a Cubs fan, so I do like this deal for them. I do feel that the Marlins should have asked for a little bit more in return. I also do feel that Edward Cabrera has super, super high potential, like more potential than a lot of pitchers out there that you can sign on the free agent market. And I think that they need to fix his fastball a little bit, but I think since, he's controllable, he has about 3 more years of club control, and I think that's a really good, I think that the Cubs factored that in, and I think we can get this guy to pitch at an elite level. Right now he's pitching at a high level. They think that they can get him to pitch at an elite level. Now, for the Marlins side, I think that they could have gotten more in the trade. Personally, John Heyman reported that the Yankees were not involved, though. So maybe this was their best offer. They do get the Cubs' top prospect in Owen Casey, but I also feel that Christian Hernandez is undervalued in this trade, as he was a top international free agent that the Cubs signed for a few $1 million. And Edgardo de Leon has been raking in the minors, so, you never know. Maybe something pans out with those 3 players. This is what all of Owen Casey, Christian Hernandez, and Edgardo de Leon, this is their stats. Now, Owen Casey with the Cubs in 2025, he had 26 at-bats. He batted .192. He had 1 home run and 4 RBIs with a .568 OPS. And in the minors, he had 370 at-bats. He batted .286. He had 22 home runs, 55 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, and 937 OPS. Christian Hernandez with the Cubs in 2025 had 444 at-bats, batted .252, had 7 home runs, 53 RBIs, 52 stolen bases, and a .694 OPS. Now, Edgardo de Leon with the Cubs in 2025 had 134 at-bats, batted .276, 5 home runs, 15 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, and an .853 OPS. Now, I didn't see any cash getting sent to the Marlins or the Cubs, and that would make sense. Edward Cabrera is not owned that much, and the Cubs are just shipping prospects to the Marlins. So I think I would say if I were giving grades, I would probably give the Cubs a B+, and the Marlins probably a B-. That seems pretty fair. I mean, the Cubs got what they needed. They were looking for another starting pitcher after re-signing Shota Imanaga, and they missed out on Imai, and they missed out on Cease, and the market was getting very thin, so there's only a few left, such as Framber Valdez. But after they missed out on Imai, it kind of felt like that they definitely were going to trade for a starting pitcher, and they went out and did that. And the Marlins since they are not going to be competitive, or they're not going to try to be competitive in 2026 at least, it is good for them to rebuild, and it is good for them to get these prospects to stock up their farm system so that maybe in 3 years they will be good. And I also think there's a chance that Owen Casey is their starting right fielder. I know that might sound crazy because he's still a prospect, but he did start with the Cubs a few games in 2025, if I'm remembering that correctly. So he could have an immediate impact at the big leagues there. Now, for the talent going to each side, I obviously evaluated them, but for the talent, I would say the Cubs got the more talented player, but the Marlins got the more potential. So I think Christian Hernandez, Edgardo de Leon, and Owen Casey smushed together to have more potential than just a singular pitcher in Edward Cabrera, because the likes of those 3 prospects, one of them will probably turn out to be a decent major league hitter, but we'll keep an eye on him. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how Edward Cabrera does. We'll see how those 3 prospects do, and thanks for watching.